The New England Patriots just got devastating news. Let's talk about it. My name is Aaron. This is Sports Talk Patriots. On the daily, pushing out content for people just like you who love Patriots football. So do me a huge favor. I would love it if you hit that subscribe button, like, and commented below before we jump into it. Today, what we're going to be talking about, some unfortunate news coming for the Patriots relating to injuries stacking up for the Patriots as well. We're going to be talking about the practice squad, 2 players just added as well. We are going to talk about offensive schematics and some data that we need to talk about when it comes to the New England Patriots and the teams they face. So jumping into it, some of you probably already know, David Andrews, my captain, shoulder injury, just devastating news, has had surgery and will miss the remainder of the season. So this comes when we look already at the offensive line is basically in shambles. You have a lot of young players on that offensive line, and you look at it from the start of the season when we thought, hey, it's probably going to be a core of 4. Who knows who's going to play that other guard position? It is now Robinson, David Andrews, City So, and then Nwenu. So when you looked at it originally, you're like, all right, things might go decent. And now it's been injury after people leaving, and it has been rough. So now offensively, you look at this offensive line, you have most likely Jacobs, you have City So, you have Nick Leverett, Landon Robinson, and Mike Nwenu. Wow. Time comes at you fast. And so now this offensive line is going to really have to adjust to make sure, hey, they still have the depth that they need, hopefully, in case they have another code red situation with someone getting injured. Hopefully that does not happen. On the flip side, you look at these young guys who are getting this playing time, but it is awful. It is devastating when you lose a veteran, someone who has won Super Bowls with the New England Patriots, who knows, who can be a leader out on the field for that offensive line. Our true anchor would be a great word for it. Injured. So just best of luck to David Andrews in his recovery. I hope he can still be a leader on the field as best as possible from the sidelines, recovering, doing what he can. So that is the devastating news. Now we move on as well. The New England Patriots made some practice squad signing tight end Jack Westover. That's an interesting signing just because we look at the tight end position. You have Hunter Henry, you have Austin Hooper, you have Jaheim Bell, and so they're pretty solid depth right there at the tight end position. You would argue that's probably one of the better positions for the New England Patriots. Now, offensive lineman Jerome Carvin, he is an interesting pickup. He's a guard. He played at the University of Tennessee, and we don't know a ton about him. And the reason that is because there's just not a lot out there. Now, we look at his draft. He was in the 2023 draft class. He was undrafted. What's interesting, in his college career, he had 43 career starts in the SEC at Tennessee. That's pretty solid. And when it comes to his pass play, his run play, pretty solid. Has the anchor to slow down bull rushing tactics. So you look at things like that when it comes to that interior offensive line. I can see why they got him. Now you look at him, 6'3", 308, and for his size, he seems pretty darn muscular and lean. So again, am I saying he's going to go in there and start? No. He's a practice squad guy. Definitely not. But again, they need depth. They need guys in there where, hey, if he needs to be elevated, if he needs to be called up, you look at Michael Jordan. He was called up. He did a serviceable job when he was called up. So the question becomes, what do we need to do so we have someone in place in case this happens, the worst happens. So Jerome Carvin, solid pickup for the Patriots. Again, practice squad is no one. You're never looking at those guys thinking they're going to make huge leaps and bounds and changes. But again, you can look at them as, hey, raw talent. And most likely, if he's being picked up by the Patriots practice squad, he was dropped by another. I believe it could have been the Kansas City Chiefs. I can be wrong when I say that. But again, it's a smart move from the front office picking up another lineman because it is needed. Now, last but not least, we look at the offensive scheming and AVP and how he's been calling plays. And I just think this is very interesting to take in effect. Now, the New England Patriots have one of the lowest 15-plus yard, 10-plus yard passes in the NFL, also as well as attempts in the NFL, one of the lowest. That says a lot. You can really read a lot, really read into that when you see that. So first of all, that means offensive line, have mercy, they're not doing great. Also, Jacoby Brissett is having is having a pretty hard time getting the ball off. Now, I thought this was very interesting, where a big reason when you look at defensively scheming for the New England Patriots, you look, okay, they're not going to have a great offensive line. So what are we going to do? Are we going to protect more when it comes to the backside of the field? So we're talking, more, cover 3 type stuff, cover 2, whatever. Or are we going to cover the more short end stuff, the quick routes, the routes in the flats, the little 5-yard hitches, all those different things? What are we going to do? So a lot of teams have schemed for those shorter routes, knowing that the ball is going to most likely get out quicker because the offensive line has struggled. So it makes a lot of sense. And the question is, what can AVP do to try to counter that? Now, I'm not saying he's not trying to figure out. Obviously, he is trying to figure it out, and he knows the issues at hand. But the question becomes, how is it going to be addressed? How is it going to be fixed? So I want you to comment below. Again, what do you think about David Andrews? What do you think about these practice squad signings? You might be like, I absolutely don't care. Totally fine. That's fine with me. But as well, the most important thing right here is this offensive just schematics and scheming. What do you think? And you're probably like, Aaron, they just need an offensive line. That's what they need to do. But again, I think it's more than that. I think Jacoby has done well. I think he is a second-string quarterback. And I think that Drake May will give more promise, a little more versatility in that pocket, which will make it harder on defenders. Now, that's my personal opinion. I'm a high school PE teacher. It's just my thought. I'm not saying I'm some expert. I'm not saying I'm an NFL head coach or offensive coordinator. But again, you've looked at both of them play in the small snippets of Drake May playing, and we know more athletic, a little bit more mobile, can sling it. And so the question becomes, when is he going to get in? I would love to see him go up against the Dolphins a little bit, but again, who knows? So what do you think offensively? What are maybe some things that AVP is potentially would do or look into moving forward? Again, he's probably like, hey, it's not like he's just sitting there like, oh, we're going to tank, because you're not going to keep your job tanking. That's the business world. It's not going to happen. So the question becomes, what does he do to try to fix this? What do you think? What do you think? Comment. And you're like, well, Aaron, if we knew, he would know already. That's true. But listen, I want to hear your opinions. It is what it is. Comment below. Subscribe on your way out. Hit that like. You guys rock. We'll talk later. Peace.